All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Okay, so it looks like the Federal Reserve, has cut rates 25 basis points. This is expected. If you look at the probability of this happening, I think it was about 85%, and it happened today. So, yeah, I think this is really bullish for the market. Now, there was some comments from the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, and he basically, I guess somebody in the crowd asked if the Federal Reserve will the Federal Reserve buy BTC, and I think he stated that they're not allowed to. Now, a lot of people are speculating and saying this is why the market the crypto market is crashing. I don't think that's the case. I think just whales, market makers are trying to shake you out before the parabolic run. And you kind of see it on crypto Twitter. People are saying, "Oh yeah, the altcoin season's over. The crypto bull market is over." Again, those are people that, if you really look at their timeline, they're going back and forth, right? I always say this: people on crypto Twitter, they either made a lot of money and they just want to be annoying on crypto Twitter, or they didn't make most of the time it's because they didn't make a lot of money or they missed out on opportunity, so they want to mess other people up. Or three, they just have nothing better to do. So I wouldn't be paying attention, or I wouldn't be taking the statements and kind of the advice people give on crypto Twitter when it comes to whether the altcoin season is over or just beginning, right? People pretty much know. Like, let's put it like this: if there wasn't something in the near future for them to look forward to, they wouldn't be commenting on it either way, whether they were bearish or bullish, right? You got to think about it. Like, why is somebody talking about a specific topic? Now, let's just say somebody was specifically bearish on altcoins or BTC and saying, "Oh, it's going to crash, it's going to crash." Well, you either have a short position, right, or you're just mad about something. So, or you really believe you're staying connected to the space because you actually do believe something's going to happen, but you want to tell people the opposite. So, again, I would not listen to people on crypto Twitter. That's just, that's just their nature. So, yeah, so he cut rates 25 basis points. And again, somebody in the crowd asked the question: would they, hold BTC? Said basically the Fed is not allowed to hold BTC on their balance sheet. I think that's what his words were, but we'll look into this article and see if it points to that, or he said that specifically. And yeah, but again, I don't think that is a reason for the crypto market tanking. Right, I honestly believe right now is a good buying opportunity. Like, if you really haven't gotten a position in crypto, I think right now it's a good buying opportunity because there's some good sales, and right before the parabolic move. Now, I don't think this recent dip will last too long because prices already look like they're bouncing back, right? Like, BTC was like close to breaking 100K, and it bounced back pretty strongly. So I don't think that's going to be. I don't think this crash is going to last too long, especially as we transition into the new year. All right, so let's read this article. Let's see what's going on as far as this rate cut. All right, so this article is from NBC News. It says Fed cuts key interest rate, but signals elevated inflation is likely to persist, and this is true. The recent inflation reports were not good. Like, the inflation has been going up, right? The cost of stuff has been going up, but it looks like Jerome Powell is still continuing with his strategy of cutting interest rates, right? Because I remember there was somebody saying on crypto Twitter, everything was pointing to not needing to cut interest rates, right? Inflation's going up. Job reports didn't come back good. I don't have the specific numbers, but basically they weren't. It wasn't a good report when it comes to the inflation and job numbers. So Again, at 25 basis points is not that high to cut, but there was a lot to suggest we didn't need this cut. So again, I think honestly that's why I always say this is like program, right? We always tend to cut interest rates when it's an election year, right? So just pay attention to when we end cutting interest rates, which would probably be in 2025, and pay attention when we start cutting them again, right? We'll start cutting them again closer to the next election. And again, they say it's not programmed, but they seem to do it. They seem to do it close to every time there's an election, right around that time, right? So they can make the market look good. Okay, let's keep moving down. So it says the Federal Reserve announced a quarter point cut to its key interest rate Wednesday in an effort to keep stable what appears to be a steady but cooling economy. It's the central third rate cut of 2024. That's right, because we had one in September, we had one in November, and we had one in December. The move reduces the Fed target rate to between 4.25 and 4.5. It says, in its statement announcing the cut, the Fed now projects just 2 interest rate cuts for 2025. It stated that the unemployment rate remains low while the rate of inflation remains somewhat elevated, right? So inflation's up, and I thought the unemployment, the jobs number, but I don't know if that reports to the same thing. Let's ask Venice AI. What were the recent job number? What the heck is going on upstairs? What was the recent? There's like crazy thumping on my apartment. What was the recent job? What was the recent numbers on the jobs report? Let's see if it reads that. Let's see what it says. Oh, come on. Now it's going to say, what were the recent job numbers report for the U.S.? All right, let's see what it says. All right, the recent job number report for November 2024 showed that the economy added 227,000 jobs, which was above expectations. Okay, it's job numbers. Somebody was saying job numbers. Maybe it was just inflation. Inflation was up, which it goes with the article. So the unemployment rate also ticked up. Okay, so the unemployment rate also ticked up. Okay, so jobs numbers went up, but unemployment rate also ticked up. This bounce back in job growth comes after a dismissal October report, which saw only 12,000 jobs added, largely due to the impact of hurricanes and the Boeing strike. The number of people not in the labor force who currently want a job aid, blah, blah, blah. All right, so, it's kind of in between. So it stated that the unemployment rate remains low while the rate of inflation remains somewhat elevated. So inflation's still up, right? So everything pointed to kind of really not needing a additional interest rate cut, but we got a 25 basis point cut, which is not the highest. But, some would say, did we need that? And that just goes with the narrative of, every time we have an election year, they start to decrease interest rates, so it looks good for whoever's going into office. All right, so a separate document released by the Fed Wednesday now indicates the central banks don't believe they will hit their desired 2% inflation target until 2026. That's very key because remember, Jerome Powell was saying, we want to get to 2%, 2%, 2%. So what is the current, let's ask, what is the current inflation percentage right now for the U.S.? Let's see. The current inflation U.S. is 2.7 for the 12 months ending in 2024. So yeah, we're definitely not going to hit that. 2.27. 2.27. He's trying to get below 2%. I don't think that's going to happen. most likely will happen when we go towards 2026, ending 2025, right? All right. Economists surveyed the Bloomberg has expected 3 cuts next year on the belief that the economy, price growth, and will have cooled further by now. So they're expecting 2 rate cuts. They said earlier 2, but now they're saying 3. Saying economist Bloomberg had expected 3 cuts, but earlier this article is saying 2, projecting 2 for the year of 2025. All right, let me make sure my mic is working. Okay, the U.S. economy has been remarkable, Powell said in remarks following the rate cut announcements. He added, if you look around the world, there's a lot of slow growth and continuous struggle with inflation, so I feel very good about where the economy is. All right, so he feels good about the economy. The Fed moves are designed to prevent the economy from overheating when growth is strong or falling into a recession when it's slow. To do this, it changes what is known as the federal funds rate, which helps set borrowing rates throughout the rest of the economy by making it easier or harder to borrow. The Fed seeks to control the pace of economic growth. All right. All right, cool. All right, and so as interest rates decrease, obviously it's going to become a lot cheaper to borrow money. So this is going to be really good for businesses. I want to see what is the average house mortgage rate? What is the average mortgage rate right now? All right, so the average mortgage rate right now is 6.78% for a 30-year fixed rate loan, according to Bankrate's latest lender survey. This information is based on the most recent data. So if we have 2 more interest rate cuts in 2025, maybe we get down to 5%, depending on how high the interest rate cuts are, right? So recently, I think we got 250 basis point cuts, and then we got a 25 basis point cut. So if we end up getting like either 2 basis point cuts or 250 basis point cuts in 2025, maybe that brings it down to 5%. But if they go a little bit higher, maybe 175 or 150, maybe brings us around 5.5. But again, to see interest rates at 3%, it's going to be a long time, unless they do severe cuts for those 2 that they're projecting in 2025. And I guess this all just depends on the inflation data. Inflation's not cooling down. They said it would be up until 2026, until we go below that 2% target, right? All right, so now what does this mean for crypto? Now, if we look at the crypto prices again, crypto is the hottest asset right now. I think if you're looking for an asset class to invest in 2025, you should be looking at cryptocurrency. Because we're getting these interest rate cuts, volatile assets, tech assets like crypto are going to be going higher. There's going to be a lot more liquidity to put into these type of assets. Now, we did see a flush right here, this huge flush in BTC. It was just at 105 not that long ago, and now it's at 101, right? So I really think it's a good buying opportunity right now, not just for BTC, but I think in general. I mean, look at Ethereum. Ethereum went from 4,100 to 36, right? And you can't see it here. We can probably see it in the 7-day chart. But yeah, like 4,100 to 36, right? So definitely a flush out, right now. And I just think whales, I think people understand, like, we're about to see a parabolic move, and they're not trying to let you get this money easy. They don't want you to make life-changing money. So you got to make sure you hold on strong. And if you have additional capital, to make sure you either add to your position, or if you can't, again, just hold on to your position. This is not the time to be selling. I don't think it'll benefit you if you sell at this point. I think you're going to be hurting yourself as far as the potential gains you can get, right? Now we're about to go on these parabolic, especially if you have the right coin, if you have the right narrative. I think you're going to see a lot of gains in 2025, right? You just have to hold on strong. But the market is not, just because it doesn't look like it. Again, if we share the screen, every time we have a dip, just remember to go back and see, right? It's never a straight up shot. You see all these dips in between. There's always dips in between. That's just normal, and you just need to get used to it, especially if you want to make life-changing gains. But that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.